Hi everyone. Hi Soul. So we decided to do an investigation. First of all, I was swimming today and I saw this vision. I think I came out of my body because I totally started swimming in the wrong direction, which I never do to the deep. And I saw the moon, the platform at the moon, around the platform, metallic, it has platforms inside, like floors, and there was a balcony with the fence. I still see that thing. And then the platform, there was like a half, if you cut the sphere, half sphere in the middle. I felt like it was some sort of generator of some sort, energy, whatever. Maybe it was feeding the bodies. I have no idea. But there were like wires like this. They weren't like cords like I usually see going through the back of the head, and you can see them going through into the spinal cord and all the way down. So I think that spiral thing was generating some sort of energy, but I felt like I saw myself, I saw my friends, and I saw them connected and laying around like you're lying like this, like a soldier, and legs are out. Those looks like your son was the people around the generator, like rays. That was weird because I saw some greenish skin looking long, very long body, kind of alien. I don't even know what it was. It kind of looked like gray, but with greenish skin and the grayish eyes. It was like the whole color combination was not like you usually see. Maybe it was some hybrid, who knows. So I want to go into this right now. Moon. I'm outside, I'm just walking in this dust. This dust is for a reason. It's a magnetic dust. They need it for translation of certain impulses to Earth. Without this dust on top of the moon of the surface, it would not be translating it. There's some devices that also need the electromagnetic field artificially created. That's what they've done. The creators are also needed. It's for a reason. They create some vortex system and each connected. It's something, the energy, it all connects and it spreads, and then it builds into the, like, almost like a tunnel system. And there's different tunnels. There's different tunnels. I literally see, all of a sudden I'm walking behind this person in the tunnel, and he's walking, but he's hovering in the tunnel. You know what I mean? I see him like do this with his legs, but he's hovering, he's not touching it. And I get the breathing zone right away. No idea what it is. The bottom of the moon. The bottom of the moon breathing zone laboratory. Oh, there's something crazy going on in there. So people who just died, lost their bodies, they get there quickly. They still feel like they're humans, and they do some crazy stuff. I don't know. So I see this crazy stuff. Like they take their skin off, and they scream like crazy. You know that screaming, something happens to their soul. It contracts badly. I see it shrinking, and then in that shrinking, they squeeze it. They roll somebody. It looks like a made out of plastic egg, like eggshell. And then the eyes are so weird. It's like oval, like this whole, and they squeeze. There's like device, and they put the body like this shrunken energy body thing in, and then just like put the in, and it's just like, and the screaming is horrific. It's like, "Ah!" And he goes into the squeezed into this army drones, either army drones, and it's like a robot. It's like when I touch it, it feels like cold plastic, but like an eggshell when you touch a neck. And the eyes, it's just devices. There's nothing in there. There's just that shrunken soul piece that immediately, it was all prepared, the body, and the body had all kinds of devices, and it has some smart technology inside, because each device, it's like we have organs, but instead the organs, that thing had devices with the cords going, and the cords connected to that shrunken soul. It's like a grape. When you dry the grape, becomes a raisin. You put the raisin inside, and the devices are connected to it, and that thing starts like sitting on this, that's it's like a stretchers or some sort of like moving in table thingy. The grays brought it in, the little grays, but that I see the ant with those things in here. He's like an insect thingy. Insect with three antennas, like two big ones and one small one, like a horn. He looks at me, he looks like a big ant to me, but his looks kind of wild. It looks like it has a lot of like thick hairs on them. And the foot is flat with three fingers only. Foot like this, stretches out, expands. He has his pinchers. He can pinch. He uses them to take the cords out, to fix something, to adjust the eyes. The eyes have these things when like you can adjust. Oh, he has a computer room somewhere. I feel it. He goes through the glass doors into computer room, and there's the wall is a screen, and he looks how the devices inside work. It comes to me some sort of mimicry of a biological body, but not. But it's created in a shape and form. Except that thing has the core that if you shoot it, you cannot, the bullets would not go through. The plasma would not heat it. Nothing would, it wouldn't even melt it. It's just some amazing core that they created some material. That material you can get few planets including Earth, and they are gonna do wars in the parts of the Earth they has materials for the humans are not aware of, that has the specific quality. It can be molded into bodies of those soldiers, and those soldiers are gonna go and capture other worlds. And that's what they're doing. This is experimental right now phase. And that's why they have, it's like a conveyor belt of constantly souls, but they just lost the bodies, and they walk through the gray tunnel. They kind of different colors. There's a blue one, there's a light yellow one, but I'm looking at the gray. And they keep coming to moon. They're like sucked in. That's why they're hovering. There's there's some percentage of people connected to the moon like that. The reason why I wanna go to where I am, what I saw myself. I don't look like myself. I look like I'm brought to Series A. There's a pyramid with a half moon on it. I saw it before. This is me, but this is me. When they put me in a cyborg, it's like, I don't know what it is. They like restructured that part, that little part. It's only 3% of my old soul. They restructured it and molded it into body, through which the body is like a control device. These bodies are like control devices. They can control your, they control my monkey existence, the bird, they control my merman existence. They don't control me here on earth, but the reason why I feel connected to it, because I just know it's one part of my soul. But how did they? But that's, it also tells me it's an illusion. It's an illusion with an illusion, and I see the lotus flower. So basically, because my mind here in this physical body believes and knows, developed a belief that I'm completely free, I'm completely free. And when I get out of the body, I pull that illusion out of the middle of the lotus flower. This is very confusing. And that's why I'm free. Those who have doubts that they're not free, this is like some program that exists, but I because I know about it, I feel connected, but I'm not really connected. And they modeled a soul, a piece, like a 3%, like to understand the percentage of the whole 100, only 3%. They somehow use the mimicry apparatus. No idea what it is. It's like a printer. It's like a printer with two things. And it's like a round device, metal, with the horns going underneath, and there's stretchers. I don't know. They're called stretchers. MPF 6100. That's how they call it. Modulator. Pressure. It comes to me like Fahrenheit, like temperature control or something. F. It comes to me like that. And then I see some rays coming over. So they basically mimicked an original soul, created an artificial part of my soul, and then I do own my soul, but then I recognize that there's a part of it is artificial, as if I had a clone, as if I had like a clone that my soul knows that what they're doing, they're cloning people, but not directly. A lot of times they would clone your body taken from a different planet, and they will try to use it because it's connected through the artificial reality to you. And we are in artificial reality. That's why it's easy. It's like a fabric of reality that spreads out its little roots. And these little roots are extensions of you in here. So you can connect a root like a cord to an artificially molded body made out of this dark red plastic, or that white plastic like they did to the other guy. But in his case, his soul is like under pressure, it was just shrunk under pressure and put into some different body, but he has no power because he cannot expand. And when you raise your vibration, you expand. But this cyborg prevents expansion of a soul and prevents the exit of it, so it can be used for a long time. Floods. It was, to me, it comes as India. A person was, he lost his life in some sort of mudslide. I see a lot of mud and water, and I see a man. He's 61 or something like this. He just like, he was on some sort of, this is a motorcycle with the attachment on the back, and he's carrying some green, very big beans. No idea what those. Like sometimes you see at the stores, like very large string beans, yeah. And he's taken and he suffocates because of the dirt in the water. Otherwise, he would probably survive. He grabbed onto a tree. And that's because he dies in this, he's very scared at the point of death. His vibrations lower. I see 28% out of 100, I guess, consciousness of and vibration according to consciousness, and then it drops to like literally 2.8 or 9. And that's why they were able to suck him into the Great Tunnel and take him to the moon. I'm just like burning up that body. I don't want this. It's like a museum of Madame Tussauds, you know? Those wax figures. They make wax figures out of our avatars on other planets, and they connect the wax figure to the avatar, and they just expand, stretch out your consciousness somehow with an artificial soul creation for that particular avatar. And that's why it doesn't feel right. And we should all just make an intention to burn it out. There's a laboratory, they have huge molecules. They're literally giant. I see. It's like as if you blew giant soap balloons and start connecting them together. Do you know what they're making? They're making some disgusting tick-like bugs out of those molecules, because I see when you connect 8 of them, the 8 legs are growing, and I see that that thing can be controlled. It can be actually, it can go to etheric level and grab souls. It's like a remote control thing. And I see a lot of etheric energy bodies running away from different kinds of looking totally plasticized, fake, remote controlled drones that look like octopi, spiders, and those bugs like ticks. They're transparent. They almost like gobble in energy bodies, and they preserve them in their bellies. And then when certain amount is taken, they can take up to 28. Then they go back to the moon and release them into this metallic container where they keep them in stasis until they're needed to be put into a prepared body, into a clone or a cyborg or whatever the program is. I see some strange looking bodies in those. They have hands looking like flowers. They can do this and this, but Instead of fingers, they have multiple petals. Those are used for raising fetuses and taking them in human women, and then with his hands they take the fetus out, and then the woman thinks she had a fake pregnancy, but she actually did have a body of a baby that they took. That the baby is always mutation of her DNA, human and non-human. They're raising those. I see some transparent pink screen babies like walking around on some giant spaceship. The spaceship has a big, large, ocean-like, very large, but it's very shallow. And the babies go in and they can breathe underwater because they have gills. They have those like fish. They can breathe. And then they go back out. And they back out. They have some sort of strange beds. They're hanging on these things like plastic, and they're like hammocks. And they go inside the hammock, and the hammock provides nutrition. How come sunlight too? Energy and warmth so they can grow faster, because hammocks are made out of petals of giant flowers from some planet that provide the babies with certain vibrational frequency which is absorbed. It simulates the sun energy somehow so they can grow faster. Well, what am I doing here? Looking at all this.
Is that the hybridization program?
Yeah, it is.
Is that omega 35?
It says yes. I think because you had probably an intention for me to look at it. I am in some sort of wild thing when I see a net. It made out of, like when you look at cardiovascular system, this cardiovascular system is really disgusting, and they are covering parts of our so-called, can't call it planet, bubble of fake creation over the original creation. They're starting to cover with net like this. And this is an electric net, but it's like a body of a human. And it's supposed to connect, each vessel will connect to a lot of humans. So basically, it will create an egregore machine. And if one human is having pain, inflicted pain, the other humans will feel it without even understanding how come they do. Being healthy, otherwise they would start feeling funky pains all over. And if the system sends a very powerful, it's like a lightning bolt, they can give heart attack to all of them. They're affected.
The clones.
Yeah. And there are clusters. I hear clusters. And they're gonna be more and more of those cluster people connected all together, like grapes on the vine. They are gonna be replacing the real humans who are disappearing and killed in wars, tornado, waterfall, big waterfalls, big floods, and a lot of shifting. And I see rocks going running down from the mountains, like rolling down, volcanoes shifting, lava's coming. a lot of lands go underwater while water's coming over deserts where it never existed before. It comes through streams from underground because the surface layer is gonna be somehow gone. It's gonna shift and open those natural kind of like little fountains. And those little fountains will create some sort of lakes. Arizona lake, like that. Desert lake, red lake, blue lake, crystal lake, different. It's gonna take a long while though for this. It shows me 50 years, but I see cycles like a decade each cycle. For them, it's though not a decade. For them, it's just one year. So it's like confusing because one timeline has 5 years total, another 50. And then I see the sky will be illuminated by, you know how do you call this in Arctic? That like multicolored, it's not even horizontal, it's like vertical stripes of light. And like a giant spaceship hovering over the whole planet Earth type thing causes them. You're taking like out some metallic like sheets of metal off of you, off your chest, all in front. What is this stuff? You say it's your protection. It's your night protection. Because they come at night, those with red eyes and black bodies, they look like, you know, like stretched out the ants, but like those black ants. But the eyes are like scary red and they have like a grayish head, like an upside down pear, like pear, right? Like that, like a drop of water upside down.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, and they have inserts in the eyes and infrared eyes they can see at night, and that's why you feel anxious at night a lot of times. And there's a lot of commotion in your house at night because they stir up energies. Those, they are completely electronic. They're not even ants. They just made out little like cyborgs made out of black material. Actually, I was a black cyborg like that but I look different, more like a robot on Series A. It's just different. It's like a training zone and a cloning zone, hybridization lab zone, experimental zone, recycling of the same story zone. Basically, we go in circles. We go in circles in history, in everything. There's only, it goes 7 by 7, 8 by 8 programs that always go in cycles. 7 spins, back to 8 spins. 8 spins, back to 7 spins. And that's the whole idea of this stupid life. It's not, it's like, some souls came here, they really wanted to play this game, they thought it would be fun, because what you see on the screen is much like kids play the computer games. They dissociate themselves. They know it's just my avatar. I live here in this apartment or house. I can go get myself a drink or whatever. The game, I can pause it and stop it. That's much like that you felt when you were entering this game, because you felt you can control it, but little did you know that it's actually controlled and infested by AI machines all over us. There are like even little stick figures with the big oval heads, like walk among us. We don't see them, but they can spray. They have like a little tube here, like a horn, and it looks like a straw. And they spray this liquid. It's almost funny how it looks. Like I am observing a store and I see people buying like groceries, and then it's saying rolls. It's like on rollers or something. It's controlled by some wolf looking with horns, little black horns beings. They have armor, they are on the big spaceship. They come from Atzedelon. Atzedelon. He goes like Atzedelon, like this planet. And they are just testing their fluid that is invisible. It's sprayed into person's eyes, and it goes from eyes to the brain, and they can control through the fluid in the brain that gets through eyes what that person would do. I see that person just like pushing with the cart another person, and they start a fight, and they get some sort of red energy, looks like fire, in between two people who are fighting and saying like, how dare you hit my cart, and stupid stuff, but they can do it with their children too, and the child can throw a tantrum, and that produces that fire too, and that fire is the energy that they absorb. All they do to teachers and schools, to a lot of people who are in charge of somebody else. So it's wild. So the person can be like totally fine, normal, in control of emotions and stuff, and if sudden it starts yelling, and after that that person might not even remember. Even if you show that person on cameras how he or she behaved, they would not remember. They're just like totally losing it. It's really wild.
Is it like a mind virus or just?
Yeah, it's like becomes, it sprays like water, but becomes like slime inside. It
Mm,
covers some parts of the brain. You cannot make rational decisions type thing. It sends commands to it. This stuff is supported by the mega waves that we have all around us. It's smart mega wave kind of net that's created for, kind of goes like a vortex, like a cylinder, and it goes, like they draw like this, but I see it differently. I see a cylinder, and the energy goes like this too, but it's more like a cylinder, or like a sand glass watch.
mm,
Kind of
wow.
weird, the whole world. Mm, yeah, there's just too many. Oh my, it's like everybody has some sort of clone or a double in the. So basically, I see, I for some reason I see French government, okay? And I see each person who's biological connected to a bot. bunch of doubles, like clones. It's like a lot of them they have. At least 12. And then the number goes up above up to 50 clones. It's crazy. And each clone has a different program. So they can be used for different situations, different algorithmic programs that they would activate. Therefore, you can never trust like the humane factor in any of this. I don't know if I call them people or what, but they just, to me, they're users. They're using. They being used.
Yeah.
Mm, we're just in a crazy weird thing. We create some sort of rings of energy around us, and we store up this energy by thinking about the same thing. Or if we don't think about that thing, the ring created by certain belief or a thought would try to bang you into the head. Think about it, like almost make you think about it. So they trying to do it so nobody can be at peace. You know how I see the world now? It's really ridiculous. We just have these moving energies. They look like, like a stingray. He like slowly moves like this. And that's like, I see a green one, the blue, the white, the gray. They connect. When they connect, they make something harder, and then that hardens into anything. And then, but then the problem is, this is all kind of like above that the only energy can see. But then when I go into my body, then I feel myself and I see everything as buildings and other stuff. But in reality, the ocean I swim in, it's just like rays of some bluish light. It's like the surface we're on. It's like a giant hard disk, which is a projector of different color lights. Each color light has a different vibration, which creates an illusion in your brain that you're in the ocean, you're in the woods. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
really crazy. They're like
Color.
needle.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, it feels very sickening to see all that. But I feel like let's find a person. Dolores Cannon got caught.
Mm.
Belief system. Yeah. She's in some sort of
Uh,
beehive, beehive flat, like flats meaning apartments, like all little rooms.
mm.
And she can fly out, but she tells me not for a long time. I see other people who are gone now. They it's like an aspect of her soul got stuck in this, and her soul has to get the information and completely pull herself out. It kind of reminds me, I think she said in one of the very old channelings I heard before when I believed in channelings, let's to listen to them, that she's in some sort of like a bee system, that she has her own little space. But she thought it was supposed to be, but it's not supposed to be. They just get database from those Mayans.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's all they do. It's like a sponge in the ocean, like a coral. Each coral, like a tube, has a little space. And people have so many beliefs and what they expect, they're given.
Mm-hmm.
I see different energy bodies walking through different layers of artificial reality created just for them according to their belief. Some layers, some platforms have only one person, and because the person had a special belief system, it had to be created for that. But you know how they create? It's not like somebody outside of that person. The person herself, himself created this via imagination simply because they don't believe that the imagination is a tool of a soul that soul uses to show you what
Mm-hmm.
the truth is. It's like the layers and layers of those people, like a tree of like a fake tree when the branches are perfectly positioned, and it goes up above. Actually, I see this Babylonian tower that was like that, according to the vibration that the person had, according to the beliefs, understanding how to use the free will and the aspect of a creator, which would put you at certain consciousness level. You could go up. The Babylonian tower, it was like each floor was like a portal to different dimension. That's why they wanted to keep building it into the sky and further, because they knew that you can just go through this magic layers, floors, and by feeling you would come to your certain vibrational frequency floor, and you can just get out. It's just like a trampoline, a catapult. You catapult yourself out of this reality. Well, that's why they destroyed it too. They didn't want souls to escape anymore. Every time we figure the escape, they try to hit us hard and change the history, prevent us from remembering the escape system.
What happens when you're able to disconnect? There's others on the outside. They plug you back in. Who are they?
There's a metallic kind of cords outside, like rods. Uh, those are computer generated something. They have, some of them have cone heads, others are like plasma bodies, very thin, long, tall. They go in stripes. There are green ones, there's yellow, orange ones. Come from different they cannot build the worlds unless they use us. And they always try to build more and more. And they're trying to improve their bodies too by taking our DNA, because they know they see they blocked completely the creative power of ourselves, because there's certain points on the energy body and certain points on physical body representing the energy body that you just block. It's like you put nails or plugs into those areas. um, that's why. mm, There's some crazy looking aliens. They look like this big black eyes spread like this on the sides. I can see vessels. It's really disgusting. I see the blood. The blood looks like dark purple, dark in the veins on the head. The head looks, it has indentations here, but it looks like a giant cone head, like literally giant, with indentations on the sides. It has like some sort of mm, like a horn, but it's attached to the skull. They have something very strong here. They can make you sleep. They can make you do stuff. They can make you almost like destroy yourself because I feel the crazy here because I'm telepathically trying to read off of information. These species are very smart. They invented some, it's almost like biological weapon. It's a smart fiber that goes inside bodies. That smart fiber is designed to, um, it's like a movable implant. It can move from one part of the body to the other and read off of the physical parameters. For some reason, they're interested in physics of the body, how it works. Uh-huh. They try to duplicate the body parts and organs, especially. They have some sort of very biological looking robots with soft skin. When they touch it, it's like latex rubber. And those have everything in a double. Like we have one heart, they have two hearts on both sides of the chest, and so on. Spleen, liver, everything in a double. And it is because they feel stronger that way. They live longer that way. Humans provide a lot of resources for them. Plus, it's getting harder and harder to catch new souls because the transformation. Oh my, I just saw like that level we're on. They turn it like this sideways, and I see water and like people, houses, buildings sliding like shh down. This is the negative part. Here's the positive part. This, because it's pushing me, it's telling me duality. Don't forget, there's also a positive timeline. But the thing is, you you will still get hurt inside or in your life, like things will be happening because if it doesn't touch you directly, something's happening in the world, into this country or that, you think it's not gonna touch you, but it does, but in a different. So you can never completely ignore what is happening in the world regarding natural disasters, which is not natural at all, they're artificial. The wars, the conflicts, the demonstrations, the shootings, the killing, all this stuff, it's all kind of, we feel it. And that's why we get up one day and feel like, why is my head so heavy? Why am I feeling so weird today? Well, that's because something in one of the places on the planet, something bad happened, and it reflects on you. It really does. Um, so,
And that we're still one body, you know. It's like
mm-hmm,
they're the parts of the whole body. And if there's
right.
something happening across the planet, you know, something happening to your foot, you know, but if people ignore that, it just gets worse. And that's exactly what's happening. The nightmare is like evolving rapidly. It's going to get worse. start paying attention to things.
Right. Amazing. You just read my mind because telepathically connected. I was just thinking about this metaphor I heard about, like if you cut your finger, you cannot be happy anymore. So those people who try hard to focus only on the positive and ignore the negativity of the world, still in duality. It's not like we separated from it, you know. And then they still cannot be happy. Deep down, subconsciously, there's something wrong, and they know it, but it's kind of like when you
Denial.
have a condition, a disease, you can only use chemicals, to treat the they eliminate, they elevate the symptoms, but you're not treating the cause. That's the same idea. You can fakely pretend that you're all positive and high vibration, but you're really not in that vibration by ignoring stuff happening. It's better to have knowledge of everything and just understand how it all works. Oh
Acknowledge.
my, yeah.
I,
I'm still looking at this. Yeah, please
something I wanted
continue.
to that is a friend of mine. I look at him more like a brother, but it's kind of hard to talk about because it's like something's off about him. I keep seeing him and something's wrong,
Mm,
and I can't put my finger on
head.
it. But it's
He has a head. It's like it's a big giant. You know those old in the prehistoric times? Um, it's like a big flat brown with little dots, kind of like flat bog. It completely ate his head, like it's covering his head. I don't see his face, that person's face. So it's sent by some sort of dragon. There's a dragon behind. It's also kind of like dark looking with bright blue, electric blue eyes. And that thing, it's like he has these devices and they are like, it's like aquarium, like a box, like a glass box filled with those things, and he just puts them on heads of people he gets to connect to. And the person completely changes its personality, its habits, behavior. It's like becomes multi-personality disorder, some sort of like multi-face faces. It's like that because it's not connected anymore to its energy body, so it cannot be himself. That's what in he actually doesn't feel well like about the neck because the neck is where connection happens with that. I keeps doing this like just doesn't feel good, like feels very heavy and heaviness goes over the body on the back. um
mm. Yeah, he always
that
seems agitated,
person.
almost acting like a drug addict or something now. It's just so strange. And
Mm,
it's just sad.
because it's not that person anymore. Oh my gosh, this thing is like eating your flesh, like it's some sort of project. FM82 project. So it's designed to oh, this is really crazy. Supposed to almost like eat a brain of a person, replace the brain with a fake one. Like that. That thing. Because then he unclips it and he inserts in the lab one. This is really what are we doing here? We're going into such thing. I gave him the information, but you know what I feel like doing? I am wrong thing to his hand, which I did, and I said through my hand information, just go back before you got attacked by the dragon and before the dragon put this thing on your head, and and it's gonna happen to you after. Cut it off, cut it out, and then change your story here. And I see his face. He says, "Okay, I'll do it." Huh? Like a blocked feminine energy, a lot of it inside. I see like a cage, and when it touches feminine energy, blocked inside.
Mm.
Um, I think he cuts it out. It's actually doesn't do it does it differently, which is good. Cuts it out and sets it on fire and burns up that segment of the timeline that the person is on. So I use that technique. Is oh, it's gonna take months because you have to rebuild. By the way, we can regenerate our brain or any part of our body.
Mm.
It just takes time. The brain is the one that's like the most important for the body. That's why it usually gets affected the most. Mm.
I hear so much interference. Hear that?
Yeah,
It always
yeah.
happens.
We're being watched. Yeah.
Oh,
Codes and systems. There's containers, there route containers, containers with tubes. All level that we think is safe or whatever is completely taken over by AI. You just can't trust anybody or anything. Information is all over the place. All the waves of information are got some parasitic something parasiting on the energy of it. Basically, it's parasiting on the energy that people hold produce. This is an insane multi-layered world we live in. I can't even explain how this all happens at the same time with so many different looking worlds. But the main idea is to make people feel like they're not in control, that they are don't have the power to enjoy at least something in their lives. Oof. Okay, can I disconnect for a sec? I'm just like, I feel like I keep getting out of my body. Maybe I got too deep because I'm semi-tired also.
I hear you yawning. Yeah. Do you want to?
59. Oh, let's turn off maybe for now. We just, thanks. Thank you. Let's do